This is going to be a shorter read, but I am continuing from the September 2023 MotorTrend, and there's probably going to be about 10 minutes worth of reading, and then it'll go on to just the normal car sounds. So I'm going to try to finish up the new car section at least. The 2027 Toyota EV sports car. What it is, it's a sporty, fun EV in the mold of the old MR2, providing another injection of adrenaline to the still young GR sub-brand. Why does it matter? Toyota's EV game has been off to a slow start. After spending years insisting gas-electric hybrids marked a more realistic path to tackling emissions and a more efficient way to allocate finite battery resources, spreading electrification across millions of vehicles, not tens of thousands, it begrudgingly entered the space with the so-so BZ4X crossover. Although the RAV4-like BZ4X offers the right packaging and price point for the moment, it's also pretty boring and suffers from subpar driving range and charging speeds. Luckily, a more exciting Toyota EV is in the wings. Well, several are actually. In 2021, Toyota showed off a lineup of would-be EVs. Unlike the untold lineup of BZ products, these were all over the place. There's a truck that almost exactly previewed the 2024 Tacoma, another couple looked like sports SUVs, and yet another was a blazing yellow sports car dubbed the sports EV concept. Details on the sports car are thin, but Toyota executives have dropped hints that a vehicle like it could be coming, promising fun. EVs that entice gearheads like the company's own president, Akio Toyoda, who has been a leading proponent of the GR series, which now includes the Supra and GR86 sports cars and the GR Corolla. And he's also a race driver too. Platform and powertrain. Given the sports EV concept's modest dimensions and decidedly mid-engine evoking layout, it would either make do with a rather small battery or benefit from new solid-state technology that can pack more usable capacity into a smaller volume. Such tech has been floated for a Lexus sports car that's also allegedly in the works. But we should point out, solid-state batteries have yet to see widespread commercialization. Provided Toyota can sort out the battery situation while ensuring the sports car delivers competitive driving range and a reasonable curb weight, it would make a compelling entry to the automaker's increasingly sporty lineup. Besides, it's been more than a decade since Toyota has sold an MR2 sports car. Why not bring that icon back as an EV? The estimated price is $65,000, expected on sale date 2026. The 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. What it is, the return of one of Toyota's most well-known and longest-running nameplates in America. When Toyota's Land Cruiser was redesigned for 2022, it was to be enjoyed the world over, everywhere except America. Indeed, the J300 series Land Cruiser, despite having a newly transitioned onto the same TNGA-F ladder chassis as a variety of US market trucks and SUVs, including the latest Tacoma, Tundra, Sequoia, and the Lexus LX600, would not be sold here like so many of its predecessors dating back decades. That is not, however, where the Land Cruiser story ends here in the US of A. Why it matters. It's an iconic 4x4, and Toyota executives have dropped several hints regarding its reintroduction here, only it won't take the form you're expecting. The full-size J300 is out, largely for the same reasons it wasn't brought here in the first place. It's too expensive, sold in too few numbers, and overlaps rather heavily with the Lexus LX sibling, which you'll notice is still sold in America. No, for the Land Cruiser nameplate's return, Toyota is hoping to widen its appeal with a more widely sized and a more palatable MSRP, platform and powertrain. Toyota will likely also assign the smaller Land Cruiser variant a different chassis code, maybe J150 or the J200, and adopt a smaller footprint version of the TNGA-F bones for its use. If you're looking for an idea of where such a Land Cruiser Light might fall in Toyota's increasingly crowded body-on-frame lineup, figure it on landing above the Tacoma pickup and 4Runner SUV, but below the 3-row full-size Sequoia. It's a pretty good guess, the next-gen 4Runner, which switches to the Taco's TNGA-F architecture, will stay roughly the same size and drop its available third-row seat while more directly attacking adventure vehicles such as the four-door Jeep Wrangler and the Ford Bronco, or perhaps like a modern-day FJ Cruiser. This would open up just enough airspace for the Land Cruiser, which would be adopted from the Toyota Global Prado, another soon-to-be redesigned future TNGA-F adoptee. Much like the 2024 Lexus GX, a vestigial third-row seat option is almost a given, along with the Prado's stadium-style seating. Certain versions of the new Tacoma pickup ride on an old-school leaf spring rear suspension, but the new Land Cruiser will get the multi-link coil sprung setup with a live axle from the off-road variants. The more powerful 326 horsepower hybridized Toyota Inline-4 might also be borrowed from the Tacoma, at least for entry-level Land Cruisers, though it's also possible Toyota could install the twin-turbo V6 from the Tundra and Sequoia, Again, with or without hybridization for close to 400 horsepower, four-wheel drive will be standard. Estimated price looking at about $55,000 to $65,000. Expected on sale summer of 2024. The 2026 Volkswagen GTI EV. What it is. The Volkswagen Golf GTI EV is designed to be an electric age successor to the car that created the original hot hatch, the Golf GTI, now in its 8th generation. The GTI EV is being engineered to retain the sparkling performance feel and fun-to-drive handling that has been the Golf GTI's hallmark since 1975, and to provide similar levels of room and practicality to today's ICE version. ICE equals internal combustion engine. Why does that matter? Like the production version of the ID2 that we don't get here in the States, the Golf GTI EV marks a return to the sharp and confident styling that became a hallmark of Volkswagens in the Ferdinand Piëch era, ending the idea that electric Volkswagens need to look different from their ICE siblings. The Golf GTI also marks a recognition that Volkswagen EVs need to become lighter and more fun to drive, that's for sure. Platform and powertrain. The Golf GTI EV will be built on the front drive MEB21 EV platform previewed by the ID2 All concept. MEB21 is lighter and simpler to produce than Volkswagen's rear and all-wheel drive MEB platform. And with all the powertrain hardware packaged under the hood, it offers more useful load space, including a deep underfloor component behind the multi-link rear axle. MEB21 is also highly flexible, and in Golf GTI form, it will feature a 2.4-inch longer wheelbase and a 1.2-inch wider track than the ID2. Although the entry-level versions of the production ID2 will start with a 223 horsepower motor driving the front wheels, and the performance model will have a 265 horsepower, the Golf GTI will boost a 320 horsepower version of the new APP 550 motor fitted to the ID7 sedan, driving through an electronically controlled limited slip differential. Estimated price at $40,000, expected on sale around 2026. And finally, the last of the future car list is the 2026 Volkswagen ID Beetle. What it is. Volkswagen hasn't officially announced it will add a new Beetle to its electric vehicle lineup, but we've heard more than a little unofficial talk of it. With the ID Buzz getting closer to its US arrival, which, side note, 2025, it has arrived, we'd welcome a Beetle EV too. Why does it matter? The ID Beetle would keep the much-loved nameplate alive, and such a car might get built in part thanks to the enthusiasm around the ID Buzz. The MEB chassis allows for a modern Beetle thanks to the modularity built into its architecture. Platform and powertrain. Although it's purely speculative at this point, we wouldn't be surprised if the modern electrified Beetle will be a rear-drive car based on the existing MEB chassis and its single rear-located motor. But we may get the first all-wheel drive version outside of a special edition like the new Beetle RSI. The perhaps unfortunate part is that the ID Beetle will almost certainly become a four-door. However, that wouldn't be the first time for such a thing. Just look up the 18A, and it could feature a liftgate which also having a frunk like the classic Beetle. Estimated price of $55,000 to $65,000. Expected on sale date, if ever, is 25 or 2026. That's the end for this reading. Follow, like, and subscribe to this, and I will continue the magazine on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Love those cars. It's a new Corvette that just passed us in kind of like a dark cherry red. It's kind of pretty. Another Corvette in sort of like a moon gray color. Past the Porsche Panamera E. So I got Uber on just for fun again, and $5.38 for 17 miles just for Dunkin' Donuts. Who in their right mind would do a 17, almost 18 miles for only $5? Who in their right mind would accept that? Sorry, I know the ringing is annoying, but just too much traffic around to turn it off.